Welcome to the Oak and Pine Podcast, a safe space to learn and grow together. Hi, I'm Lala. I'm of the Black Indigenous people of the East Coast, United States, and I'm reconnecting with my roots by way of hoodoo and learning witchcraft.
Hi, my name's Connor. I'm a traditional British witch and a druid.
Hi, I am AB, originally from Venezuela, an eclectic witch that is starting to find their spiritual path. Now, let's get witching. It's
Okay.
better. It's better.
All right. Well, this is episode 2 of the Oak and Pine Podcast. Today we are going to talk about meditation.
Yay.
Ooh, we love meditation.
No.
But before we get into all of that, how has everyone been?
I've been keeping pretty busy. I have new classes to help me develop my practice in witchcraft. And, I thought I had a lot of experience coming into this, and now it's dropped me right back to the student role, which is fine. And I actually appreciate that. So it's like a nice refresh, and I'm like relearning everything and gaining more information that I have in the past, which is really nice. I'm just having fun with the week, and I'm trying to make sure that I have time to breathe.
Yes, time to breathe. Breathing is so important. So please keep breathing.
Please.
What about you, AB? Anything that you would like to share?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you guys saw, like, on my social media, I took a week vacation with my husband and some friends. We went to Key West. It was incredible. I enjoyed it so much. And the cool thing is that a lot of people kept reaching out and because of content that I uploaded before that week. And hey, I love these oils, I love these. So I felt that I was enjoying my witchiness, even though I was at the same time just drinking and partying. And so I like that sweet balance between, okay, this is a human life, let's have fun, sis, and let's get witchy, setting my protections while I was in a house that I didn't know, drawing circles all over the place. It was really cool. I'm going to be honest, it was a nice week.
I love that. Did you have like any experiences being in like a different place where did you do any spells or any rituals or take advantage of that?
Obviously, I visited a Botanica that was in Key West. I felt that that's the first thing that I wanted to do. And got to meet like a practitioner in that area. I did create, because it's a house that I didn't know. The first thing that I did was arriving with the intentions of clearing out any energy, so it was pretty much like extending circles of light around the house and setting a protection. Actually, we had an instance, we had a situation where we thought that we were in danger. And the first thing that I did was like going to the entrance and creating a protection circle, and also like pouring down salt and all of that and praying all over the place. So at the end of the day, it was nothing happened. We had the time of our lives, and at this point, I feel that my witchy, like my practice and my personal life are ingrained, a witch here, there, and wherever I go. So it was very cool. It was very cool. I had so much fun.
Well, I haven't been up to much. A lot on my plate too. Just really trying to find that balance so I can make sure that I'm more active on social media. I have some stuff that I've been collecting, like eggshells that I need to make a powder of, and all kind of stuff like that. I'm trying to get back on the moon schedule with my practicing, and I really want to do some money spells to see if I can do this, because I need some money. I definitely want more money. I guess we all do. Things are expensive nowadays. I mean,
it is wild.
Oh yeah.
It's wild. At the grocery store, I'm spending like $200 and I have like 6 bags, and it's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to try to delve into that. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about AB's favorite topic, Meditation.
Oh my God. It's not my favorite topic at all.
Not your favorite topic at all. Well, let's get right into it. Meditation, AB. You tell me what.
This is
Throwing him under the bus.
why you hating? Okay,
Going
so
right to AB.
okay, so what meditation is? So
Yes.
the thing is that there's not like a specific consensus across cultures of what meditation is. The overall idea that is had is pretty much a act of in support and also part of mindfulness to be more present, and that's pretty much where the thing start changes across cultures. Christians, they are more present on whichever scripture they want to get insight from. It seems like depending of what Buddhist tradition or Hinduist tradition is more about silencing mind or simply to concentrating on a particular type of prayer or dedicating that time to the deity. So it's like a body recollection type of situation. But it seems like meditation focus a lot on breathing, silence. What about you,
Perfect.
Connor? I think that you are more familiarized with meditation than us.
I do have a little bit more, I guess, experience with meditation. I'm not a pro or anything, but I have had a lot of good teachers that have relayed me like a lot of great advice. So in terms of meditation, I guess we could probably like break it down a little bit as well. So I guess here's the first little bit of homework for all of our viewers if they're interested. One great video that helps us to sort of conceptualize like when you're meditating, like what to focus on internally and visually. If everybody has seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated series, there's a scene in it where a monk teaches Aang how to get into the Avatar state through balancing his chakras. That's a really great. I was taught by one of my teachers that that's a great explanation of at least partially how to sort of like work with your energy and chakras and understanding that. So the premise is essentially meditation is not always just about relaxation. It's also a bit of work as well. So as energy is flowing through you and through your chakras, sometimes throughout the day, be it from internal gunk or external gunk, stuff gets in your river and clogs it up. And in order for us to focus on being able to utilize our energy more effectively, we need to clear out the gunk. So meditation can also be relaxing, but it also is a time for us to like roto-rooter our energy, our energy river. Just like roto-rooter. So one other thing that I learned from my teacher, which is something I didn't know prior, was the concept of energy in and energy out. Meditation is supposed to be balanced, especially when we're doing a working. We don't want to only draw on our own power and our own energy, because that can cause burnout, especially if you're doing a really energy heavy spell or working rather. So it's important that when you meditate, you draw energy up from the earth and from other sources, use that to help clear out your system. And another set of advice that one of my other teachers has provided me is that if you can focus on really just clearing out and like balancing the three bottommost chakras, that can really help like just solidify your grounding, and then you can work from there. So that's a great starting point, is just working on the first three, and then eventually you can clear out the rest.
And a quick question before I forget, for people that may be kind of like not familiar or curious or never heard the term, explain what a chakra is in your words,
So I haven't done extensive study into the full breadth of chakras because it's far more than what most of us really know unless we actively study chakras as like a whole and not just the current understanding that most, I guess, like Americans or Canadians have an understanding of. Chakras is a lot more than what we think of, just 7 or so chakras. Um, so chakras are essentially like energy centers and pools of swirling energy within our body that the meridian of energy that goes through our body kind of connects to. And each of these chakras can, or basically are said to impact certain parts of our body or connect with certain emotions or states of being. And by clearing and cleaning and maintaining the rivers of our body, we can basically like help ourselves flow more effortlessly and I guess create the future that we want to create or change within ourselves or the world around us. But it certainly is a way to practice energy manipulation within your own body without having to, any other method. It can definitely be a workout.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely I've done some reading on chakras and not even just like you said, the seven chakras that run through the center of our bodies, but just what a lot of Easterners have, studied about our body as a whole. Our whole body has a map to it. And I think that that is very important. And I think that meditation does help that. So I totally agree with the both of you to the definition of meditation. I do believe that meditation is any technique that is comfortable for you to be mindful, for you to relax, for you to become or to reach a higher ether or a higher state. I feel like there's so many technical ways we can put it. But it's just as simple as that. Some people are like, well, hey, I may not want to reach this, this level of enlightenment. Well, maybe you're stressed out today. Maybe it's not a good day for you and you need to learn how to get through this moment. I feel like meditation can help. I like what you stated, AB, about having ADHD or ADD. A lot of people have found it hard to meditate because we look at Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi, he was able to sit there and meditate while Daniel-san was, trying to get his attention. Yeah, that may take years of attaining that. But meditation can be very, very simple. So we're going to talk more about it and we're going to share more, resources and whatnot. So let's talk about that. Let's just jump into where have you guys seen meditation in society? Do you see a lot of people talking about meditating, or do you see like what do you see when you're out there, AB, in the world?
The thing with meditation is that it became very popularized by New Age. Like this New Age movement seems to take meditation out of a religious element, and it was launched toward a more mindful day-to-day element, which I talk a lot about New Age. Like I'm not too happy with many things, but the effects of meditation across the board are positive, very positive, and something that I'm very grateful that New Age or let's say modern medicine has popularized about it is that it brings very positive results, and it brings a lot of health, diminishes anxiety, it helps you to sleep better. I actually have improved my meditation skills, even though I was already learning a little bit from it with Jason Miller. It was thanks to Connor that he gave me a very easy meditation that helped me to sleep better. And that is a reality. And I like to bring that up. And so, yeah, it can be found everywhere. It can be seen a lot in society. But I think that as soon as someone hears the word meditation, you immediately see someone practicing yoga, sitting down on a mat, typically
The white lady with dreads.
the white lady with I didn't want to say it, but you said it.
With the tribal tattoos
Yeah,
and
the tribal
yeah,
tattoo. Which, by the
yeah,
way, I wanna I didn't want to say anything, but I'm going to say it anyways. It is important to be aware that when it comes to talk about the chakras, we have like a very westernized version of it, but chakra is very older than that. It actually seems to correlate to Hindu and Buddhist practices, and according to the school of interpretation, there are more than 7. There might be 12. There will be a lot. What I'm trying to say is that, um, you know, whichever your practice be, make sure of going further back and acknowledging where the theory come from and all of that. Not necessarily like us, like, I mean, everyone. With every practice, something that we always say, go to the root.
yeah,
But anywho, that was just a brief parenthesis, just in case if someone that is new
yeah,
arrives here and they think, oh well, just going to my gym, the yoga class that we have there, they talk about chakras. That's it. No, there is a bigger picture than that.
yeah.
Um, but
And
yeah,
you're so funny.
I just needed to say. I was biting my tongue, but I wanted to say it anyway. But yeah, that's the thing. We're seeing like the meditation everywhere, and Connor recommended me really cool apps that I briefly use. I think that he's going to share that research later on,
Yeah.
so I'm not going to take it away from him, because he shared that with me.
Yes.
But yeah, it can be seen everywhere. I actually remember the meditation part, and again, everyone knows I'm Christian, or I grew up in Christianity. For us, meditating in the Word, meditating in the Bible, I cannot stop thinking that that was a form of meditation. Maybe Christian, maybe not
Yeah.
necessarily related to Buddhism.
I believe so. I like to
But
think of like prayer and just contemplating on
contemplating.
so Connor, where have you seen meditation in society? And like I guess I wanna like, are you seeing it more frequently? Like, can you go out there and take a class? Can you become a certified meditation teacher, or have you seen anything like that? And what have you seen?
I think AB said quite a lot of it. I'd also like to add as well that not just within the spiritual community, but definitely within the mental health community, there is there's a bigger push nowadays that people are starting to realize how important mental health is, and meditation is one of the tools that helps people to develop self-awareness, or at least the breathing techniques and the grounding and centering techniques that meditation helps your brain, it helps you to train with, can
Yes.
help you to look inside yourself and your behaviors and your patterns, and help you recognize parts that need healing. So I've seen meditation used in that. I've also been through therapy, and meditation helped me significantly with a certain style of therapy that I went through was IFS, which is internal family systems. And because I was already meditating prior, I already had that muscle strengthened enough to utilize it much more effectively during a therapy session, which worked out very positively. Again, everyone's results are different, but for me, it worked out really well. But definitely, there are a lot more meditation apps in terms of education. You can find meditation apps for free all over the App Store. You can find books on it. There's probably meditation classes in the YMCA or community centers near you. It's not that difficult necessarily to find classes like that, depending on the area you're in. But if not, then there's going to be lots of different teachers that you can find throughout YouTube, throughout like pretty much any single social media sphere. The one app that I benefited most from and that I felt assisted me was an app called Headspace. You've probably heard of it, and no, we're not sponsored. But
Sponsor us, Headspace.
sponsors Headspace. um, it really, because I'm a visual person, and it provided some like videos that really helped me like understand the concepts that it was trying to teach. So because it's free, I believe, until you want to get like the full version, but even the free version has a lot of great videos and content for you to watch and learn from. So that's definitely one way that I recommend it. But again, from what AB said as well, touching back onto that, going back to what Buddhist teachings are for like the chakras and like learning about that system and whole meditation is a great place to start if you want to like get right back to the beginning of it. There maybe even be like perhaps like a Buddhist spiritual community near you.
Absolutely.
That might be a great place to go and like ask politely, like, is this something that you offer? Is there something that you can teach me?
Yes.
And they may be willing to do that, or they may be like, members only. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't think they would say that.
In my
I don't think they would
experience,
say
no.
that, but like they
In
would
my
be like,
experience,
sure.
no. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
husband is Buddhist and they always welcome everyone. I mean,
Always.
There you go.
that's been my experience. So I think that if you want to learn Buddhist meditation, that would be
Does
cool.
your husband have a channel?
He has a channel, but it's about plants, not about Buddhism.
Oh, I love plants.
He already has
Follow
10K
him.
followers.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my
him.
gosh.
By
Yeah.
the 9.
Oh my gosh.
Follow him.
Yeah, I definitely will. And yeah, we have to share because especially with plants, plants is a big part of practice.
Our practice in
Yes,
particular.
so yeah, that would definitely help us all out. I
plant allies.
live walking distance from a Buddhist temple. And
there you go.
yeah, I love it. And I went on their website and yes, they list their hours and like when you can come in and have them guide you through meditation or whatever's going on at that time. So yeah, I think that was a good point to bring up. So
yes,
absolutely. So as far as where I've seen it in society, I mean, it is really mind-blowing now that probably 10 years ago, you didn't see all of these apps. You didn't see these commercials. You didn't see people promoting it. Even my employer promotes these meditation, of course, along with like the benefits to keep you healthy. And, so, it's not just about, hey, we have health insurance for you. Now they're trying to show you how you can prevent getting sick or whatnot. So I think that's amazing. So I know that those of us who have an employer that offers benefits, check with your employer. I'm pretty sure that they have some tips, or you might even be able to get access to a free app. They actually give me access to the Calm app for free. So
that's good.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so this is a really question that I'm going to throw in there.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to start with Annabelle.
Oh my God. Let's see.
I'm ready. I want to know, like, what scares is probably not a good word, but like, what makes you uneasy or scares you about meditation?
Oh, at the very beginning, it was difficult for me. I swear, I think that I shared once a TikTok with you both. When I was sitting down on the meditation, songs going on in my head. Yeah. Bam, 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 bam. My skin started itching. I felt something crawling on my leg. I was trying to breathe, and out of nowhere, I have to do this tomorrow. But the thing is that I didn't know that was part of the process.
Yes.
When that finally I was listening, what my subconscious was like vibing, in this computer that I am. So it was part of the process. So it didn't scare me. There's people that they just can't sit down and be quiet. In my end, it's more that it's hard for me, the background noise. Yeah. So that was a difficult part for me. I think that I was never too scared of the meditation. If anything, I will say, if you are like me and you have ADHD, take it easy. That will be like kind of an advice. If you already know that you are prone to panic attacks,
right,
or maybe stuff like that, maybe this type of silence moment, like with your head, it might not necessarily be the best. I will say that take those approaches more with a therapist. But yeah, I guess that was my let's say my fear with meditation. It was the background noise, that it was quite a lot. But besides that, not much. It's being a positive experience. Obviously I keep complaining, oh my god, I hate meditating, and I do. uh but it's a muscle. You train it, and
Yeah.
right now I'm able to meditate for 20 minutes in a row, no difficulty. I'm
Ooh,
doing better. I think
awesome.
that I'm doing better.
Yes.
That when we practiced the first time, we talk about this the first time, I think that I did 10, and it was, kicking and
Yeah.
scratching and crying. But yeah, it's like everything. You train and you get better, and you can keep longer, and you can, yeah, focus more.
Yeah. I agree. That was what scared me about meditation. That's why it took me so long to get into it, because I'm the same way. I've never been diagnosed with ADHD or ADD, but I'm pretty sure that if I go, look for a diagnosis, that they will. Because I'm the same way. Songs pop into my head. Oh, my grocery list. Oh, gotta do this, gotta do that. And like you said, that was a part of the process. So once we all can get past that and not beat ourselves up about our mind running wild, it's okay. You'll start to notice that, hey, something pops into my head and then it pops right back out. I
Yep.
refocus. So,
Mhm.
what about you, Connor? What made you nervous or scared you about meditation?
I feel like when I first started, I wasn't really knowledgeable on how to do it, and I didn't have any teachers. So I learned what I could from scrounging various resources. Eventually came across Headspace, which helped, and a few early teachers, um, which really helped set the precedent for it. I also have ADD, so like now when I meditate as a person with ADD, I'm able to sort those thoughts and those random things that come up and sort them into their proper place while I meditate, to the point where I'm actually able to like let things that are important, or things that are like subconsciously like things that I need to know, come up, instead of being like scattered with different messages or reminders or dings or other things like that come up, which again took practice, but you
Yeah.
can certainly get to it. um, I feel that I don't know if I was necessarily scared of it, I would say. um, uh, I just didn't necessarily believe in myself when you first started. And again, like AB and both of you said, actually, is that you definitely have to be patient with yourself. And if I have any other like little tips that I can offer, one that I learned recently was that um, you should never use food to help you ground, because that can develop into a little bit of eating habit when it
Yeah.
comes to that, and that can be unhealthy. So the more you practice and sharpen your abilities, and practice and flex that muscle, the easier it's gonna be for you, even in your daily life, when you're sitting on the bus, when you're
Yes.
walking, when you're doing something else, to be able to like slip into that mind state and like focus yourself on what you need to do. Because for me, I have great focus when I need to. I can sort of go, okay, let's stop for a second. This
Mm-hmm.
is the direction we're going. I'm going to focus on it. But what I need to work on more is grounding, because of my ADD. I kind of need to like go through this like little ritual before I sit down and meditate, where I have to like pluck and push and like tug my shirt, make sure it's like perfectly comfortable across my whole body. I have to settle in, use my meditation backrest. I have to keep my feet with a blanket on, but I can't have anything on my upper half. Like, so I
Yeah.
set myself into this very comfortable space, and then I can go, okay, now I can start, because nothing's going to bother me, right? I prep my environment first. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like whatever works for you. I mean, the research I've done and the books I've read, yeah, a lot of people have a meditation space. They have, bowls that they can play, the singing bowls.
Mhm.
It's a lot. Like AB mentioned, yoga. A lot of people, they prefer to meditate when they're doing yoga poses. So
Yes.
Yeah, I say whatever works for you.
Something that I really like about meditation is that it's across the boards. You do not need to belong to a culture or religion. There are cultural ways to practice meditation that's very different, but
Mhm.
meditation is pretty much can be found across the boards,
Yeah.
and you can just find a way that fits better within your culture, your practice, your who you are as a person, and be able to do it with no difficulty. There's
Yeah.
no excuses.
And I think what Connor was saying, like, being able to sort out your thoughts and refocus, I think that that is the exact true definition of meditation. It's
Hmm.
not, being in that, in that stage. It's the process
Hmm.
of getting to that stage, and I
Yeah.
believe that it really helps us. It can help us with even our everyday life.
Yeah.
I mean, if something upsets you and you just take a few seconds to control your breath and clear your thoughts and say, hey, this person cut me off or whatever, but me chasing them down, is that gonna is that gonna solve my issue?
Yeah.
People make mistakes on the road every day, so if
Yeah.
you can just get through those processes, I think that that would really help. So
Well, when he was mentioning, yeah, like separating the thoughts and all of that, like that's what he taught me, like the noting technique, pretty much. And that's how it works for me. He was telling me, Anibal,
yes,
just place the things, swipe them left or right. Is this a thought or is this a feeling? And
right,
not necessarily like try to deny them or like to take them away of your head when you are having that mindful moment. It's more like, oh, I am recognizing you. You are real. I'm not trying to eliminate you. It's more like you go in the right box, you will go in the left box.
yeah,
And that sorting process helped me incredibly to go to bed. Because when I go and lay down, that's immediately when everything
yes.
start happening here like flies. And I just start, well, you go here and you go here. And that simple process just helped me to go to bed, which is wild. So
So let's back up a little bit
yeah.
because this is going to segue right into our next topic about it. So what is like, how do you go into that process? Do you like tell yourself, okay, I'm laying down, this is what I'm going to do, or do you wait for those thoughts to come to your head and say, hey, I need to meditate? Like,
so,
explain, what do you
so
do?
so that's the thing, the noting process. I would like to say I'm not a pro. This is something that he just taught me to go to bed. This is not necessarily to meditate.
Yes.
This is me just trying to get a decent sleep. um and I'm not trying to meditate, but I need to go into that mindful space to be able to fall asleep,
Yes.
because if not, I will be thinking about everything and I will never fall asleep. And it's 5 a.m. and oh my God, I didn't sleep the entire night
Yeah.
just thinking.
See, I
So
think that's meditation. I think that that is meditation.
just reaching that mindful place makes me fall asleep, and that's what
Yes.
I need. So pretty much that's what I do. I just make sure that I'm feeling comfortable. I like my room cold at the time to go to bed. My husband likes it too, so we have our room cold,
You guys
and
are crazy.
I
Yeah,
love it. Listen, give me
it's
the
very
cold.
cold.
Give me the cold, give me the
Yeah,
ice, give me the snow. And
maybe
yeah,
a sweater with like blankets, like basically from my like mid torso down, probably just underwear and like a sweater and like three pillows, and I'm good. Cold space though. It
I
needs to
need,
be
Yeah.
yeah,
cold.
I need my cold space, same. But that's pretty much to go to bed and to sleep. And literally the process, I like to use the example of the film Inside Out. That's how I
Oh,
imagine my
yeah.
head.
Yeah.
Just a zillion of Annibals walking everywhere, doing stuff. And every single time that I'm like perceiving something, when I'm trying to go lay down, something comes up in my head. I just try to classify it first. Is this that is coming up? Is this a feeling? Am I feeling embarrassed? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling happy? And then I put that in the feeling box. And then I see what's happened. Okay, what was I thinking about that make me feel this way? Or, well, I don't know, something that I said on third grade that happens often. Something that I watched today. Okay, I put it on the situation box. And
Yes.
that process of classifying stuff makes me fall asleep. Now, I'm not saying that that's how it's going to work for you, but that was a recommendation that Connor gave me to
Yes.
classify thoughts that helped me fall asleep. Ironically, meditate at the moment to meditate, if I'm going to meditate specifically for a ritual of or a spell or something, or connecting with Saint Cyprian, which typically is my saint, I count to go into that meditative space backwards. I count backwards from the number 100 to 0. And I just imagine the numbers in my head.
Yes.
So this act is more like I'm actively trying to clear out any emotion, any distraction. I need to be solely focused on this ritual. And I just imagine the numbers in silver, like I'm seeing a number in silver, 100, 99, 98. And that counting backwards, once that I reach 0, I am feeling grounded. I think that this is more like a meditation grounded type of situation, as Connor was saying.
Yes.
And that's when I cast my spell.
And so, and I'm going to ask you this next, Connor. AB, when you feel grounded, what does that feeling feel like? If you can describe it.
I would like to say it if I would like to say like very neutral. I feel that it's like a if I am going to perform if I'm going to cast a spell of healing or prosperity, then once that I'm grounded, I try to bring in the emotions of money, of healing, good emotions. If I'm going to do something more left-handed, I'm going to bring in hate and rage and, stuff like that. But I feel that that grounding feeling is not necessarily feeling anything. It's like I'm focused on what I'm about to do.
Yes.
I would like to say I'm at peace.
Yes.
And then I bring the emotion in that I need for the ritual or the spell.
Like a reset. I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes. Grounding literally as if I'm getting rid of all the static and extra sound, and I'm just going to that neutral space to cast.
Yes. Yes. So Connor, I guess you explain, how do you practice and then how you feel once you reach that point of grounding.
So I'm just going to quickly iterate because I have two different ways I meditate depending on what the intention of the meditation is. If I'm doing like a basic, like if I'm doing like mindfulness without any spiritual energies or anything like that for my mental health, I will ground. So I'll sit down, I'll find a comfortable place, or if I'm standing, I will start with deep breaths. And the way I like to visualize it, so if you don't know how to do breathing to start off into a meditation, basically imagine you have a balloon in your stomach and a balloon in your upper chest. And when you inhale, you want to inflate the lower balloon in your stomach as full as it can get, and then the air will spill and fill up the upper part of your chest. So take a long, deep breath in, and you're going to hold it for 3 seconds. And then I exhale through the lower balloon first, and then sort of like a tube of toothpaste, I kind of go and kind of like breathe it out. And I can't remember what I can't remember the scientific aspect of this, which may be a good research topic for you. But when you take deep breaths, it presses against your spine, which hits a nerve, which helps you to release, I think, dopamine or something else like that, that helps you like physically relax. Because as I guess our animal selves, when we were evolving, short, quick breath like increases adrenaline, and being able to take long, slow, deep breaths sort of lets our body know that we're like in a safe place and we can relax again, so we don't have to like be ready to fight again, right? So practicing deep breathing, and once I feel my body start to like slowly relax is when I kind of let myself go back into a natural breathing cycle. And then I will start noting. And then if there's one thought in particular that is bothering me or is like the area of concern, then I will look at that thought, like I'll hold it in front of me in my mind's eye, and I'll ask it questions, and I'll kind of discern what the intention of this is, what that internal fear is, and what the root of that is. And I'll sort of go through a process of like, okay, like, why do you think this? Why, etc. And I'll go down the ladder and sort of try and break it down and figure it out. And that usually, even just going through that, you can realize that it's based in like some other like small fear that you can go, okay, well, like if that's what's truly bothering me, then I can plan to mitigate that, and I can plan to like make sure that doesn't happen. And sometimes that can actually help release that thought from occurring, which is nice. You can sort of like
Yes.
mend that part of yourself.
Yes.
And now when we're talking about spiritual practice, so for example, when I'm preparing to do ritual, I do meditation slightly differently. So I will then start to focus on energies and chakras. So again, I'll drop myself down before I meditate and do ritual. I will sit down and like find a comfortable place. Then what I'll do is I'll bring myself down into a relaxed state using the deep breathing. And then I will sort of imagine the chakras starting from the bottom to the top in each place and they are, and kind of like keep that in my mind's eye and hold it off to the side. And then with the other part of my attention, I'll reach down, and I'll sort of draw up energy, like universal energy from the core of the earth. And I'll bring that up through my chakras. And as I go, I'll focus on each one. I'll focus on like basically like massaging and clearing out the gunk in there. And I'll move up to the next one, next, until I've made a straight line through me. And then I'll reach up, grab the extra energy from above, like throughout above me. And then I'll pull that down as well, just to kind of like bring more balance, and make sure everything's working fine. I'll fill up on energy. I'll like increase the size of each of the chakras by like filling them up like a balloon, increasing that. And then when I know what the intention of the working is, I will draw in the focus of what I need to do. And I will sort of like a black hole almost, or like the center of a star. I'll like compress the energy and like not crush the chakra, but I'm basically going to like increase the energy density of the chakra, and I'll like center myself so it's like a water jet essentially. Instead of it just being like a fountain of spraying water, I'll hone in the direction of energy. And then once I'm in that state and I have everything prepared, that's when I'll set to work, and I'll give energy to what tools need energy. I will say whatever prayers I need to. I'll call the quarters. I'll do whatever I need to do to make that ritual function.
That is
Awesome.
very interesting.
It is. It is very, very
Yeah.
descriptive. And it sounds very difficult, but I like how it works for you. And that's, I think, is the whole point of finding a meditation practice that
Yes.
works for you. To our
Yes.
listeners, whatever flows to you and makes you feel comfortable and it makes sense to you, do it,
And works.
and it
And
works.
works.
Do it.
I'd also like to quickly point out, while
Yeah.
I'm doing energy, while I'm gathering in energy for working, I'm not expending any of my personal energy. I'm drawing in energy from universal energies.
Yes.
And then even after, I'm drawing in energies from the elements or other different influences, goddesses and gods. Like I'll connect with them and I'll draw that energy in and then focus and channel it. It's also important that if you do energy working for a ritual or for a spell, that you also give some energy back to the universe and not drain yourself completely. Leave a little bit for yourself, but put a little bit back. There needs to be a balance, because I've heard of many practitioners in witchcraft or in Wicca or any other similar traditions where they've experienced burnout after doing a doing a ritual where they just are physically and emotionally exhausted. And it's important to practice ensuring that you give back some energy and you bring yourself back into a balanced state before you drop out of it. So don't rush yourself and make
Yeah.
sure you take your time.
Absolutely. So once you reach that point of feeling grounded, how do you feel physically?
Physically,
Like, how do you know that you reached that state?
when it comes to working with my energy for a ritual, it's kind of like I'm between worlds to a certain extent where I'm still aware of my physical body. But at the same time, part of my body also feels like on another layer, feels like it's like blended in with like as if like I'm partially submerged in an ocean that connects to everything. Or, I just feel a lot more like relaxed. Some people use the term homeostasis, when your body is in a very relaxed state, when all your organs and everything are functioning at a nominal level, when you just sort of feel very calm. I don't feel um, like I'm not in a highly, I guess, like emotionally sensitive state. I don't repress any of my emotions or anything like that. I allow them to flow freely. But at the same time, I'm not allowing them impact my practice. I'm keeping balance with both my logic and my emotions, and I'm tapping into them or I'm listening to them when I need to during the ritual.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, for my practice, I started practicing meditating a while ago, and it was really for me to deal with my emotions. So, not super extensive like how you do, Connor, because me on a personal level, I'm just starting to learn about orishas and goddesses and deities. So I'm not like calling on anyone or working with anyone yet, but I like to meditate when I feel overwhelmed, for one. That does help. So I do like short meditations, or I love to refer to them as prayers, because that's really what I try to accomplish is, just thanking the Alpha Omega for everything. And what I'm
Yes.
going through at that moment is minute and I can get past it, right?
I feel
So
exactly the same.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, I do take the opportunity to, when I have the time, I want to try to meditate for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And I think the breathing techniques is so important.
Yeah.
Not even just meditation. I always like to think about when a woman goes into labor and she gives birth. Or before that, they say go through Lamaze class, because
Yes.
that breathing will help you get through that pain. Try it
Yes.
one day. If you hit your funny bone one day or stub your toe, try to take that deep breath, just like how you explained it, Connor, with the two balloons, and see how your pain level will start to diminish.
Mhm.
So I do want to get to the point of where you are, Connor, where I really want to like really, really meditate in my practice, to try to, but for now, it's all about, me just getting to that calm state. For me, I have to close my eyes. It's hard for me to keep my eyes open, because now I'm looking at the birds if I'm outside, or now I'm looking at, this spider on the wall or something like that, or I'm looking like, oh my gosh, I got a dust, So I do like to close my eyes, especially when I'm going to try to meditate for a while. And it gives me such a calm feeling. Like you said, homeostasis. My breathing is so diminished. I'm so very still. In my mind, I feel like I can start to see, I don't know what it is. If I'm seeing other lives. Like, I don't know if it's like my life or if it's like another realm, but these images start popping in my head. But they're good images. They make me feel good and just make me feel at peace.
Mhm.
So that's how it really, really helps me.
Yes.
So when it comes time to meditate, with all the books that we read, it makes me think back to Juliet Diaz and plant witchery. how she always recommends meditating with your plants.
Yes.
When do you, AB, feel the urge to, or not even the urge, when do you feel like meditation is necessary? Like how you said when you're going to work with Saint Cyprian.
Yes. No, just
Oh
continue.
no, I was just gonna ask, like, when do you feel like
Okay,
when does it come to you to meditate
so
that I need to meditate?
yeah, so that's the thing. Even though I even my meditation has improved thanks to Connor's help. And I like to be very upfront about that because that was an area that I didn't feel too strong with. However, that does not mean that I was not practicing meditation before or that I was not receiving education on that area. And again, I want to say Jason Miller. Jason Miller was and still is like a very an author that I recommend, and I think that my witchcraft structure came to him because I took a class, 5 months of classes, 5 to 7. I don't remember what, but it was a lot, almost a year, like half a year. And actually, I have this book here. I know that I'm jumping ahead, but I'm sharing it. Real Sorcery. Pretty much, the way that I see life. I guess that this is my belief system. In the same way that I'm physical and I'm ethereal, I see life in a physical and an ethereal way. There are objects that needs to be to cleanse physically and spiritually, ethereally speaking. There are sometimes energies that needs to be cleansed from an object as well. The funny thing is that when I'm not feeling in the right headset, I know that I need to take some time. Not necessarily meditating overall. I'm working, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need to breathe. I need to stop. So when do I feel that I need to meditate? The thing is that what type of meditation what we might be talking about? There's different meditations according to instances. But I pretty much feel that as soon as I'm not vibing, I need to stop,
Yeah.
count backwards, and continue. Now, when I'm sick, I like to take my healing bath, and along with my healing bath, I like to meditate, pray to my ancestors. When my money is not flowing right, I know that I have to clean the house. I need to redo my money bowl, pray to my ancestors, and meditate on the prosperity energy. So when do I feel that I need to meditate? Pretty much before and after anything is not going accordingly to my plan and feelings. So that's what I feel, that my meditation is needed practically all the time. How I meditate, though, that again, that's the tough part. At this point of my life, I feel that I'm meditating mostly when I wake up,
Yes.
before doing a reading, before doing a spell. When I am feeling like a clutter of energy, when I'm feeling that I'm like, yeah, my head is not in the right place, I meditate. So I guess that those are the moments where I feel the need of meditating. Let's say that that's my mental cleanse.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
that's me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same way. I feel that it's necessary, and you guys both know that I'm not like really. I mean, I'm doing my practices, but
Yes.
like I mentioned, I'm not, working with any specific
Oh, sorry.
deity or spirit.
I apologize. I'm listening. I'll be back. I
Okay,
apologize.
no worries, no worries. Yeah, so I do feel that it's necessary before I want to get into something, before I want to ask my ancestors for something or ask the spirits for something. I want to have a clear mind. I don't want to be, come into it with my spirit, kind of discombobulated from whatever may have happened in the day before. So I completely agree. What about you, Connor? Like, when do you feel it's necessary that you meditate before you're going to work with the spirits or do a practice?
So I guess throughout the day when I notice that there are parts of me that need some reassurance, or I feel my mental health is like starting to like kind of slip during the day because I'm too stressed out. Like I am a sensitive person, like emotionally. So um I pick up a lot of stuff. Like I tend to pick up some things from like the environment around me, or most of the time it's like internal conversations that are just like like I'm so
Yeah.
pissed off, like grumbling or pissed off at something, or like that's not how I do it, or shit like that. I go, okay, I realize that I'm getting like the level starting to rise, and I'm like, okay, like this is the point where I'm like, I need to take a second to breathe,
Yeah.
and like breathe through my emotions, figure out what's the source of this, and like heal that part. That's in terms of mental health. Spiritually speaking, I meditate before bed
Yes.
every night, or if I remember, I try to. Again, ADD.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't meditate in the day because I've forgotten, or there's other things that take up my
Yeah.
time. Um, but I try and meditate before bed every single night. That's generally when it works. That works best for me.
That's right.
I'm very busy in the mornings. As soon as I wake up, I have things I have to get doing because I work
Yeah.
very early in the morning. So the nighttime is when I can take my time to like dedicate that to myself. So generally before bed, before workings. I don't necessarily meditate before a reading, but I don't do a full meditation,
Yeah.
but I will ground and center myself
Yes.
quickly. For me, whenever, and the reason why I do it a little bit faster or without having to do like a deep scrubbing cleanse before I do a reading, unless I feel compelled that I need to do one, is because I generally um, set a bunch of like permanent wards around my space and make sure my space is cleansed, and that I take my time after work to decompress and
Yes.
to release things that are serving me or that are clogging me. So I normally do that kind of work within my space. Um, that's why I generally take a little bit less time before readings and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with both of you too. I failed to mention that yes, I wake up and I pray slash meditate. I think that that's super important for me to start my day. I too sometimes get, super busy and have to run out the door, but when I get in my car, I know it sounds crazy to like, oh, I'm driving and I'm meditating. Like my mind's not there, but I will take those few moments to silence my music and, just be grateful, be thankful, just ask for whatever comes my way that day for me to be able to work through it, whether it's good or bad, just let me get through it. So yeah, and especially like with driving to work, I feel like you have to have like a clear mind in traffic because people are fucking crazy. Excuse my language, but they are crazy.
That's why I don't drive.
Yeah. It's so funny because
I'd rather walk.
I've been working from home for so long, so I'm just now like getting out there and I don't like it. I don't. I'm like leaving earlier so I can avoid traffic, which works out for me. But I do meditate in the morning. If I didn't take my shower the evening before and I take my shower in the morning, that is really my time. Just asking, I always pray, bless the water, bless, my cleansing agent. And then I take that time, to just meditate and just be in the moment. That's something that I totally forgot to mention about meditation is that for me, it's a lot of being in the present. It's a lot of, hey, don't think about what happened in the past so much. Don't think about the future too much. Yes, we have to plan. We have to set goals and aspirations, but I try not to get carried away. I also often think about, the people that are in a worse position than me or the people who are not here anymore. So
Yeah.
I really do take that time. And then I really have been trying to I call it my high noon prayer. I really been trying to like stick to doing my meditation slash prayer at noon, that when the sun is the highest in the sky, because I think that's really important too. So it's a work in progress, but I'm getting there. And then
I can just see a mental image of you like walking out into the middle of the street and you hear and you sit down with a cowboy hat in the middle of the road and you're just like
noon.
Let me do this.
and then someone walks up behind you and you go and you're like high noon prayer.
And that's why I laugh, because I'm like, I'm calling it high noon
Oh
prayer.
my
And I
God.
actually have a reminder in my phones to just make sure that I take that time. And then at night, like
You have
both
a
of you
silver
said,
revolver named Serenity.
quick draw.
Sorry.
But no, I think that's really important to try to set a schedule.
Yeah,
Or not even a schedule, just, you know, like you both say, hey, I want to try to meditate before I go to bed, because that's what's best for me.
I feel that if what you need is the schedule to get strong, in the same way that you say time to go to the gym, in the same way that you get time
That's
to
right.
something that I really want to take on what Connor said at the very beginning, and as this is because it's something that I feel that is important, especially in witchcraft, in the practice. We mass receive in social media that, you know, it's all about the comfort, it's about the commodities, about healing, and I think that is important, don't get me wrong. But a lot of people perceive the witchcraft just as a safe place, or spirituality as a safe place, and I feel that it definitely is, but it's also a place where you go and train and you get rid of the parts that do, you know, need to be, you need to get rid of. It's a place where you are going to heal what it needs, and it takes work, and it takes effort, and sometimes it's painful, and sometimes there are meditations, as Connor say, that are good to, you know, relax and feel better, and there are meditations that are going to be painful. Is it going to be reviving moments that you need to confront? And I feel that the practice is the I hate to bring the Bible, but it's like when Paul said, you were eating milk because you were a baby, but now that you're an adult, you need to eat adult food.
Yes.
And when you were mentioning about like these small meditations here and there and all of that, I was thinking like we were snacking. You know, I had an apple, I had my my energy bar, I had my coffee, but there's a moment that we have to sit down and have like the big meal.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, oof, okay, there are moments that you have to make yourself sitting down and meditate, which I hate.
But add it into your practice, like, you know,
you
for
have
all
to.
the listeners out there. I mean, like for me, my day is Sunday. I mean, yes, I love practicing hoodoo because it's a combination of everything, and it says that I don't have to cut ties with my Christian upbringing. And yes, I was raised as a Christian, so I stick to Sunday as my spiritual day.
Yes.
And yes,
Same
that's when
I hear you, and I'm like, I'm feeling it. Yes.
So whatever day, some people say, hey, Saturday's my day. Whatever day works for you, just try to add that into your practice and try to take, you know, more than what you normally do. If you do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, try to double that. I'm just going to do 20 minutes. And I think it's so invigorating. And I think it could really help, kind of like therapy. Like you said, we need our food. It's like snacking, eating a meal, and then, you know, it's like your own bit of therapy.
Yes.
To reset yourself.
Yes, totally.
So let's talk about what has influenced our journeys. For me, I am going to keep bringing up this book. Let me find my virtual. Let me see. Here we go. The reason why I like this book, May I Sit With You, is because the author, he is an addiction counselor. He helps people through recovery. And not just this book, but other books I've read. And I have a ton of books, like all of my hoodoo books talk about meditating. Meditating is very important. But this book really breaks it down to the bare bones. And it makes, you know, a person that has no experience with meditation, it makes it attainable. It's literally called May I Sit With You, a simple approach to meditation. So it just really breaks it down. And I feel that if you can read this book and you can connect with this book, it will help you get your journey started. Because that's where you need somewhere to start, right?
Yeah.
And as you go through your practice, you'll learn how to incorporate your meditation. But other resources I've come across are tons of them. Some of the favorite people to follow on social media, Yaki Awakened, Iyanla Van Zant, they always talk about the breath. Yaki Awakened talks about doing dragon breathing, where you are actually, clearing, you're holding your nostril, you're clearing, and
Yeah.
I really feel like, yeah, that's the basis. If you
Yeah.
can just, for me, meditation is finding something to focus on. I like how you said count AB and just thinking about the numbers. So with the breathing, if you can just focus on your breathing technique, that is meditation right there, Iyanla Van Zant, she always, does let's do a breathing technique before we get our day started. So there's tons of influencers who are promoting it. You can literally just Google meditation and see what comes up. I mentioned before the Calm app. And that's another thing we kind of didn't touch base on. You don't always have to be in a quiet environment. Listening to nature sounds, to water running. I wish I could live where Connor lives. Like, you're by a creek, right? You're probably by many creeks, Connor. I've seen some of your beautiful pictures, and just hearing that water, oh my gosh, I think that would be the best meditation
Yeah.
spot. So there's tons of stuff out there.
Or even a ravine. I mean, like, so the creek is like an overgrown ravine, which is great because not a lot of people go there. So even just like any source of flowing water is great.
Yes.
But we live in
Music,
Orlando.
I know. We'll have to go to like Lake Eola by
Yeah.
the water fountain and all the people. But I also think
I would
that
love that.
if you are in a space, like in an urban space where like all I hear is police sirens and fire trucks, I think that's good practice. I think that is good practice when you can just say, hey, all of this background noise, and I was able to just focus on my breath and for
Yeah.
5 minutes, that's good practice.
Yeah,
So
you can't grow if you don't have something to practice with. And people like us who have ADD or ADHD have a
yes.
lot to practice with. And so it's probably a little bit easier for us to eventually learn meditation because we always have those distractions. And once we learn how to focus on our breath and sort of let those outward distractions kind of roll off of us, then we can really gain a lot of traction. So, like Lala said, just start with focusing on your breathing. And if you need a point to focus on, you could focus on the feeling of your physical torso inflating, holding, and deflating. Another one that you could use is focusing on the sensation around your nostrils, like as you breathe in, the cool air rushing in, and as you breathe out through your mouth, like feeling the warm, humid air out of your lips. That's another physical sensation you could focus on, or you could just focus on a single point in your mind's eye when your eyes are closed. Yeah, or
Yes, I
timing,
like that.
whatever works. There's a lot of different focuses that you can use, but breathing is the best way to start, and ensuring you're doing your deep breathing.
Yes.
And do you have any resources, Connor, like any books that you've read or any resources, YouTube videos?
Most of my resources are from teachers I've had. So people who are in the Buddhist community, people who are in the spiritual community. Most of it, though, is from them or Headspace. And I probably small little tidbits I picked up in and around that I don't really have a solid source for. But I've been doing this for 10 years. Yeah, 10 years or so. So it's certainly taken some time. And I probably can't remember all of the sources, but Headspace
How
is
did you
definitely a great one.
find your teachers? Like that's a good, segue to take, is just finding a teacher.
Yeah. So just sort of explore different sort of spiritual communities. So if you have spiritual communities in your area. You could check on YouTube and see like spiritual communities in the name of your city or town near me. Or you could look at like different wellness studios. You could look online on YouTube. You could see if there's a Buddhist community in your area.
Yeah,
That's another,
Yes.
again,
absolutely.
really great one.
Yeah, that's like my number one recommendation.
Yeah.
If you can find a Buddhist community, because that's where I started. Like when I started learning, it was all from from Buddhism. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah,
But there's definitely going to be points like you're not going to be 100% perfect all the time. And you're never going to be fully cleared and focused and perfectly honed and sharp 24/7. Things are going to constantly keep falling in your creek. So be patient with yourself, understand that it's just
Yes.
life. Take your time to like cleanse, do your breathing, like clear out the gunk and move on. And then when stuff
Yes.
gets in your river again, take your time, clean out the gunk, continue on. It's a cycle,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
that's right.
Yeah.
Anything else you
Yeah.
want to add, Connor?
Looking at my notes. I don't think there's necessarily anything else.
And whatever we forget to mention tonight, we're gonna, add it to our social media so everyone can, look at these resources. But what about you, AB? Do you have any go-to resources besides Connor and recommending noting?
Freaking Connor. No, Connor was a really, really great resource of knowledge on that area. And I'm always very upfront with my position with meditation. I say I hate it. The reality is that it's not my forte. So I try to be very sensitive about it when it comes to talk about, hey, if you are a person that is just starting in meditation, or if you, like me, have ADHD and you have it difficult, take in consideration that it's possible, it's feasible. Ironically, I keep bringing Jason Miller. Jason Miller is someone that if I am not wrong, he was in the Tibet with monks studying for like 12 years or something along those lines. I'm inventing numbers, but I know that he was in those areas practicing, living it. And in his book, Real Sorcery, which I love because it's not only focused on meditation. There's one chapter focused on meditation and one chapter focused on breathing, actually breathing before meditation.
Yes.
And he touched upon the fire breath, which reminds me to the dragon breathing that you were mentioning. Actually, let me see if I can look it up real fast because I know that I had meditation. Perfect. So he goes over the fire breathing, gazing, gestures, breathing. He goes over the jar breathing, which reminds me to the visualization of the globe in your stomach and in your chest. He actually goes over that visualization as make sure that your jar in your abdomen, in your ab area feels first, and then you feel the jar in your chest, which is very interesting. So yeah, I love Jason Miller because I feel that he touched on everything that we talk about. And Real Sorcery is a nice book because it's not going to solely focus on meditation, but the beginning of the book, you want to be a sorcerer, you need to learn how to control your breath. You need to learn how to meditate because a lot of the magic occurs in the ethereal world. And the reality is that to get there, most of it is through our will, our mind, and our imagination. Another book that I like too, which I showed in the prior episode, but still I like it. It's a practical guide for witches by Ilva Mara. And again, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but I love her. She is amazing. And the book is not solely focused on meditation, but touches on it, gives you like guided meditations for protection, for cleansing. I'm a firm believer of creating your own rituals if you find that they work for you. So if the ritual that you create works for you, keep using it. If you want to go to roots and traditions, try to be respectful with the culture that you are connecting with. Very important. I think that is a big thing. But yeah, the resources that I am sharing today, besides Connor and Nothing, are Real Sorcery by Jason Miller and A Practical Guide for Witches. These two books do not focus solely on meditation, but they will touch upon it. And I think that those are great resources for new practitioners.
Yes.
I also wanted to add one more thing just quickly that I remembered. When you're starting to ground and center yourself, one thing to keep in mind is that our body can hold tension in various places. So while you're starting to drop yourself down and do your breathing, oops, um, there we go. What I like to do is I basically like to imagine like a cartoon x-ray that like scans through my body from head to toe or vice versa, however you initially imagine it, doesn't really matter. And I'll go to each part of my body. I often find that I hold a lot of tension in my jaw and in my forehead. So like I'm often like
Yeah.
clenching. And then when I remember that I have to relax, then I go, oh, okay. And I just unclench my
Sorry.
jaw. I like
Mhm.
move my jaw around, stretch, and like and make sure to get all the tension out of my body first before I sit down. And sometimes it comes back if I'm stressed out. And then again, I go back to that spot. I relax those
Mhm.
muscles mentally, making sure to like, you know, physically relax my body first, breathe through it. Another tip that I like using is um, if I have a spot on me that's itchy, while I'm meditating, what I'll do is I'll kind of pause where I'm at in the meditation and I'll focus my attention on that spot mentally and where it is in my body. And I'll focus only on it and I'll breathe, do my deep breathing, and I'll focus on it and eventually it'll fade away. And then I'll bring my attention back to what I was doing and um,
Yeah.
continue where I left off.
Absolutely. I like that. I like that. So I have one final
Good.
question.
I will stop a scratch and continue.
Lightning round.
Eh,
So, one final question that I have for the both of you. When you are practicing, when you're doing your meditation, whether you're meditating for your mental health, your mental well-being, or you're meditating to begin to do your craft, are there any go-to items that you have to have with you, whether it be, your certain plant or crystals or just anything that you're like, I have to have this with me while I'm meditating?
Connor, you begin.
So when I'm doing my general mental health, sort of like mental check-in slash like meditation throughout the day, like if I'm at work, at my station doing something, and then I'm like, oh, I need to like do a breathing exercise while I'm like working, I'll do that. But when I'm preparing for my practice, um, I always have my meditation backrest. So when I meditate, I like relax all the muscles in my body, and um, that means my core as well. So I need something to lean against. Otherwise, like my back will like curl forward and I'll like hunch my shoulders, and I won't be able to like fully like roll my shoulders back and
Right.
actually get the full deep breath. So I found mine on I think Amazon, but some spiritual stores in your area carry it. But basically, all it is an adjustable backrest with backrest here and a stand there, and there's a small little cushion. It either comes in navy or black from what I've seen, and it's like a small memory foam cushion, and I'll just sit on that and I'll adjust it to the right height, and that's what I pretty much always use, or I find something I can lean my back against. Um, that's definitely something that I always use. I think it was around, I invested in it. I tried meditation cushions first, and I found I couldn't relax fully when I had to sit on that cushion because I was always having to divide my mind between like activating my core, making sure I didn't like feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Um, so that's a huge boon for me. I think it was I've spent around like $60 to $80 on it, but it's worth it for me personally.
Yeah, I think
Personally,
it's
I
If it
saved
important.
up.
works, it works.
If because you have to be comfortable. If you're not
Yeah.
comfortable, then you're thinking about, oh, my back, my knees, like I can't meditate in a like when you're resting on like your knees and like your what do you call it, the lower part of your leg, like where your shin. Like I cannot rest on my shin because
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, I'm like, these thighs are starting to burn. These thick thighs don't lie. So yeah, I cannot. So yeah, you must be comfortable. So
Yeah.
hey, and then I'm pretty sure that's gonna last you a long time. So
Yeah.
$80 well spent.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, AB? What do you have to have?
So I have my meditation cushion and I also have a mat. Um,
Do you do any like chants or mantras while you're calling
so
on this?
that goes a little bit beyond meditation and goes more on the actual practice. I was a person that used to focus a little bit more on the gnosis, but now I'm going a little bit more traditional witchcraft. I'm falling in love with rhymes. I'm falling in love with I'm falling in love
Traditional.
I'm falling in love with the idea of structuring something that makes a rhyme. Actually, I share with Connor once. I was flying. I made my flying ointment, and I was like actually flying, like flying to the witches' Sabbath, to the
Yeah.
celebration of the witches, and I made a rhyme inspired on a TV show called Salem. How can I express it without sharing too much because it's a little bit personal?
Yeah.
Um, do whatever works for you. Do
Yeah.
whatever works for you. Take inspiration from whatever inspires you to practice, and if it works, you know that it works. It's real.
Yeah.
But of course, respecting close practices and all of that. I'm that person. I'm always going to keep saying, hey, close practices and culture. That's not touchy. Grab your inspiration from whatever you can and
Yeah.
structure your practice and whatever it rolls. So yeah, if you're doing a type of a spell and you want to have a particular mantra created, that
Mhm.
worked for me. It worked really well, and that's what I recommend to all my witches.
Yes, absolutely. Well, for me, I don't have any fancy back cushions. I do have a cushion that if I'm sitting like how like I'm in my chair right now, I'm sitting on this cushion, and that's how I like to meditate. I'm most comfortable when I can have my feet flat and my back straight. So I always sit in a chair. I really, really, if I'm doing like a longer meditation, I really like to sit on my porch, be in nature. So I just have, some porch chairs for that. But like you both said, whatever makes you comfortable, whatever works for you. I have, read some suggestions that even if you're not doing a spell, but if you are wanting to meditate, that you can say a mantra or a small chant, because again, that's something that you're focusing on. If it's hard for you to
Yes,
focus and you have to repeat a phrase, that
yes,
will help you get into that meditative state. Again, do what works for you. That's what we're going to stress the most on
yeah,
all of our episodes. We do not have any audience feedback yet, but we will eventually have Q&A.
Mhm.
We'll read, whatever we have, reviews, any type of comments that people want to leave. So please reach out to us. So it's been fun. It's been real. Please reach out to us on our social medias. We will be sharing more content. We're going to share the pictures of books that we're recommending. So we're going to share a
yes,
lot. And so comment, should I say comment below?
yeah.
Yeah.
Leave a comment
Yeah.
question
You
below.
definitely can leave a comment in Spotify, so let us know what you think about the episode. And if
Yep.
you are watching us through YouTube, just leave a comment, follow, like, share,
Leave a
and
rating.
yes.
Thank you, AB, for being a part of this. Thank you, Connor, for being a part of this. We're reaching people every
Thank you,
day.
Lala, for being a part of
Mhm.
this.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to be here. I wouldn't be anywhere else. So So again, thank you all for being here, and we really enjoyed this. I hope that you enjoyed it. So big blessings and
And
Happy
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 witching.
witching.
witching.